What I find fascinating is that the article itself isn't lying, isn't pushing for misinformation, yet most people would objectively look at this and call it yellow journalism. So why is it? What exactly are they doing wrong? Well, apparently they are creating ethical standards that do not exist in our society, but they are pretending that violating these imaginary ethical standards is peak antisocial behavior. Like look at this nonsense, okay? It's not even Donald Trump himself, but they use the name in order to get the headline, and it's his trial team. So basically, his lawyers, the helpers, right? They went into a McDonald's. They bought $700 worth of food, which, by the way, with the Bidenomics is probably not that much. But the monsters did not leave any tip. Can you imagine that? Astonishing, right? Like not tipping at McDonald's. Before making this video, I actually had to ask on Twitter, like, do you guys in America pay at McDonald's? Because I think that you don't, but I just had to make sure, because I know that America has a very bizarre culture of tipping, and you guys tip everything and anything, and you know, hey, maybe I'm out of the loop, maybe you guys do tip at McDonald's, but no, it turns out that you don't. And I suppose it makes sense, because you're tipping a waiter, like someone that actually comes to your table and provides an extra service by being nice to you. Like, that's the person you tip. At McDonald's, you do not get a waiter, you just get your food. I've been told that you guys tip the DoorDash employee, which, okay, I don't really agree with it, but like, fine, whatever. However, nobody tips at McDonald's. Except the journalists, I suppose, you know? Because maybe, I mean, if they're writing this type of article, I suppose they may be the only human beings on earth that go to a McDonald's and tip. Maybe they are so rich, that they are so wealthy, that they can afford to tip. Now, the interesting thing is that I actually did work at a McDonald's at a point in my life. It was actually the first job that I ever got. I was in law school, and my parents were having a rough time. And I decided, hey, you know, like, I can help ease the burden by getting some pocket change. And during summer vacation, I got a job at McDonald's. Now, the interesting thing is that while I was there, I was actually told, do not accept tips. I wasn't even allowed to keep the change. If someone gave me a bigger bill and said, keep the change, I was supposed to heckle the customer to give him the change back. And if he actually didn't want it, then there was this donation box to some charity, and I was supposed to put the change there. Like, this is what we're talking about. And yet, right, they're upset that the Trump trial team didn't pay the $700. So again, they're creating this imaginary standard in society that, well, actually people have to pay at McDonald's. And it's curious, like, how did they even get this article? Like you need to imagine, like, a couple of journalists that are harassing these people. They're kind of like the NPCs that are tagging along, and they're following the Trump staffer team everywhere. I wonder if they follow them in the bathroom as well to tell us if they wipe their hands or not. How many times did they rub their tushy after getting off from the toilet? Was it like 2 wipes or 3 wipes? You know? It's so bizarre. Do they do this to other politicians, you think? Like, do you think they do this to Joe Biden? Do they do it to Nancy Pelosi? Like do these politicians have a team of individuals to make sure that they tip accordingly at restaurants? That their private life is monitored to this extent? And every little thing they do that may be antisocial in nature, like maybe they jaywalked or they crossed the street when the red light was on. You know, like something like that. Do you think that gets reported? Oh, look, they got a speeding ticket. Oh my God, oh Dios mío. Obviously not, right? Like the laser focus is on Trump. Why? Because number one, it's before an election. And number two, like, what exactly does this type of article serve? Well, this type of article serves several purposes. First of all, most people only read the headline, right? Like you're in the morning, you're reading the newspapers just before you go to work, and you're seeing this headline. Now most people don't stay and think about it, right? So they see Donald Trump doesn't tip, right? Like, because if you're skimming, you're scrolling down, this is pretty much what pops up, and you're thinking, what an asshole, right? And you keep moving. And then you find like other articles that are similar in nature, like just more antisocial behavior. Oh, look, he got like 2 scoops of ice cream. Oh my God, what an asshole, right? So they're trying to create the image of the asshole into the mind of the average people, so that when they actually lie about him, about something that's important or big, then people are more likely to believe him. because they have this image of the asshole, right? I was actually talking to Short Fat Otaku, and he was telling me a story that he read in the newspapers, and it was about Trump's visit to Japan, where apparently he freaked out at his staff because they gave him sushi, and he said, no, he's not eating this raw fish, like he wants proper food, and he wanted a burger. And then he wanted to speak with the Emperor of Japan because he went and then visited some gardens and didn't like what he saw there, so he had like this project in mind. And when he was told that the Emperor can't see him that day because the Emperor didn't know who he was, this was before he became president, by the way, he threw a hissy fit. And I'm like, well, this sounds to me like hearsay. This sounds to me like, just yellow journalism. Like, there's no reason for me to believe any of this. And he's like, no, because it's Trump's personality. Like, this is exactly how he would believe. And it's like, well, how do you know Trump's personality? Like, you didn't meet the guy. Like, all you know about him is stuff you read in the newspapers. And this is the type of stuff that you read, right? Like, oh, look at this. His team didn't tip at McDonald's. What an asshole. So you read these articles that are constantly... And again, like, you do not read this about any other politician. Like, they will not write articles like this about Nancy Pelosi. They will not write articles like this about Joe Biden. And I think that this is why Trudeau didn't want to meet the truckers. Because we live in the age of the soundbite. We live in the age of the headline. And if he was to meet the truckers and he would have said one thing that's been viewed as disrespectful, then they would write headlines about him. And it would change public opinion. Yeah, like nowadays, politicians seem to be just like the same like a brand or a PR thing where they need to look pristine. And I think that one of the reasons people do like Trump and why he is a populist is because he actually behaves like a human being. Like the press, by doing this, are accidentally making him more popular because no one is perfect. Most other politicians are presented in such a nice, shiny light that they don't even seem human anymore. Like, no one is that perfect. No one is that good. Humans make mistakes. Humans are assholes every now and then. So, like, you read this article, and when you actually think about it, his team bought $700 worth of McDonald's, right? So, like, look at the rich people going in. I don't see them as being rich. Like, you don't go to McDonald's in order to have a luxurious dinner. It seems that they're busy with the trial. So they went and bought some American food for everyone because people have to focus on work rather to think about the fact that they're hungry. And yeah, like this was a fast thing, in and out. Okay, $700 is probably to feed more than 10 people, which is the staff of Donald Trump. Why is this in the news? Why is this of public interest? Why are they pretending that this is something awful because he left no tip to the workers, which were put on a lengthy order together? Oh, Dios mío, can you imagine the horror? Like the workers actually had to work for this this delivery. The inhumanity. Yes, the workers at McDonald's had to cook. I don't know, man. It's so bizarre. We should also feel for the journalists who also had to work and write this article. Look what Trump did. Look at the horror that he did. He made the journalists actually have to print an article. The journalist had to type and then go to the keyboard and exhaust himself. And he got no tip for this either. The monster. Let me know what you guys think, though. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.